Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Jags fans of all ages, how you guys doing? How the heck are you? My name is Jersey Jaguar, and I am here today to bring you my opinion on why this is one of the most critical free agency periods for the Jaguars in a very long time. I'm going to get right into the topic of this video. The Jaguars don't have a lot of money, just to put it plain and simple. Why is that? Well, it's because the Jaguars spent a whole bunch of money last offseason. Now, the Jaguars have had a history of doing this time and time again where they spend money on guys who come in to take a paycheck and it don't really work out. The Jaguars kind of seems like because they can't draft, history tells you, so they've always tried to build a team or always tried to desperately claw together something through free agency in order to get something more than 3-4 wins a season. And it never works out, except for last season. So, Jaguars don't have a whole lot of money. So what do? Well, it's pretty obvious. I'm not really going to be saying a whole lot in this video that any intelligent Jaguar fan doesn't already know or realize. Priority number one is to bring back Evan Engram. Evan Engram had one of the best, if not the best, season for a Jaguars tight end ever. He literally came out and said that this season with the Jaguars changed his life because he was reaching a point with the Giants where he was losing his love for football and didn't even know if he wanted to play football anymore. And he said that coming to us, being around Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence and everything that the Jaguars are building there has renewed his love of football. I don't know about you guys. I have never heard anyone say that about us. So, priority number one. I don't care if you franchise tag him, although I would prefer a long-term deal done. So this way we're not sitting here this time next year trying to think of the same exact thing that we are now as to how we're going to sign him. Evan Engram is priority number one. Now, the Jaguars, I believe where they stand right now, it's an absurd number. It's like negative, I believe it's in the 20s, negative 20 some odd $1 million in cap. Some guys are getting cut. The guy that everyone looks to the most, and rightfully so, is Shaq Griffin. Goodbye. Ever since the Jaguars moved Darius Williams outside, the combination of him and Tyson Campbell played really, really well the second half of the season. So the Jaguars, the biggest need in the secondary is the slot corner, because another cap casualty that everyone talks about is Rayshawn Jenkins. But Rayshawn Jenkins had a career year. You can't cut a guy after having a career year. Now, I think the Jaguars are going to probably try to restructure him to save some on that cap. I just can't see a scenario where the Jaguars get rid of Rayshawn Jenkins. I just don't see it. I don't see it. So, pretty much in the secondary, that slot corner position is the biggest need there for the Jaguars. Roy Robertson Harris is another guy that a lot of Jaguar fans say could be cut or restructured. And I could kind of see him being cut, to be honest, although he was very good down the second half stretch. He did come up in some big moments, but hasn't been super consistent overall. He's someone I could definitely see the Jaguars cutting or restructuring. But this really isn't a cap video because I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about the cap. I'm not a numbers guy. Okay? I'm not a numbers guy, and I'm not going to sit here and spread fake news because I don't know the exact ins and outs. But what I can tell you is Jamal Agnew makes way too much money. Jamal Agnew is set to have a $6 million cap hit And the Jaguars, absolutely, I don't want to cut him because he does bring a certain aspect to this team. His importance with the return game is something that not a lot of teams have. Although I could definitely tell that the injury he suffered hindered him this season because he wasn't quite the same guy. But he was still very effective. But in the passing game and the actual offense, outside of the occasional like reverse sweep thing, like he's not defensive coordinators aren't game planning for Jamal Agnew. So do you want to spend $6 million for a really good return guy? I don't. And I feel like Jamal Agnew is the kind of guy who would, restructure, move some money around to help the team. I think a lot of guys are like that. I actually think Evan Ingram will probably take less on a long-term deal than maybe he would get elsewhere to stay with us because he says he wants to come back. Another guy that the Jaguars need to bring back who wants to come back is Jawan Taylor. I don't want to hear any more of this Jaguar drafting a offensive tackle at 24. Stop it. Please stop it. If the Jaguars are not able to get a deal done with Jawan Taylor, you have had Walker Little sitting on the bench off and on for 2 years now. Tell him to spend the offseason preparing to play right tackle because Cam is your left. And if the Jaguars do get a deal done with Jawan Taylor, which I believe they will, Jawan Taylor wants to be here. I do believe the Jaguars will find a way to get that done. If you wanted to trade Cam Robinson, I wouldn't be totally for it, but I would understand that more. And then you have Walker Little right there. And then let me ask you this. Would you spend the 24th overall pick on another swing tackle? When you've had Walker Little as your swing tackle, you spent a mid-second round pick on 2-3 drafts ago? I don't think so. The Jaguars right now, we did not expect this season. I did not expect to be wearing this shirt. The Jaguars under Doug Peterson took such a massive step forward in the first year that I believe the next step for next season is for the Jaguars to make it to the AFC Championship game. Did I just say that out loud? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I think that should be the expectation. Call me crazy, but that's what I expect. I expect the Jaguars to win their division next year. I expect them to win at least one, if not two, playoff games. And I think it's very likely that we could end up in the AFC Championship game. But in order to do that, there are 2 tackle positions on the team. 2. There are 22 starters on an NFL roster. 2 players play the tackle position. If you re-sign Jawan Taylor, you got 3. And if you don't re-sign Jawan Taylor, you're not spending your first-round pick on a guy who's riding the bench. You know what that does? It takes a team who's right here, and instead of drafting a player that could maybe put them here or here, it takes them here, and they go down a little bit. It does not advance this roster to do that. So that's my 2 cents about that. No offensive tackle at 24. I don't want to see it. I would rather the Jaguars go wide receiver. Honestly, I see a lot of mock drafts having us go corner, which I don't know. Do I want to spend the 24th pick on a slot corner? Because Darius Williams and Tyson Campbell are our main 2 outside corners. And they played very well last year. Tyson Campbell is a beast. And Darius Williams, once they threw him outside, was really good. So, and no Jalen Ramsey. I don't know if I mentioned it in this video yet, but I need to just nip that in the bud real quick. The Jaguars, the biggest thing that they established was a culture change. From all the previous crap, from the David Caldwells, the Urban Meyer, Doug Marrone, everything that has been the Shad Khan era of Jaguar football, Doug Peterson went and cleaned it in one season. Bringing back Jalen Ramsey would just bring that back into the locker room. Don't want it. Don't want him. I used to worship the dude. And he turned his back on me, on you, on all of us. I don't want him. Don't want him in a Jaguar uniform. Nope. Don't want him. Not interested. But I feel like I've gone a million different directions in this video, and I apologize for that. Maybe I should script these things after all. But this offseason, this free agency period is very important for the Jaguars because they don't have a whole lot of money to spend, and I can't really foresee the Jaguars being big free agency players. But things that they need to do: re-sign Arden Key, re-sign Dwan Smoot, re-sign Juwan Taylor, re-sign Evan Ingram, and restructure a whole bunch of other people. You do that, you bring back core guys, you'll be all right. And you don't spend the 24th pick on an offensive tackle, you'll be all right. That's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed my usual rambling for 11 and a half minutes. I'm trying to think of a new intro because I do think it's time to come out with a different intro. I haven't been putting my usual one in my videos because I'm trying to come up with a new one because I feel like the Jaguars are a new team, so I should go in a different direction as well. So yeah, that's all I got. Hope you guys have a great day. I want you guys to ponder in your free time how much you hate the Titans and how happy you are that their dynasty, their run as champions is over. The Jaguars are your AFC South champions, not just this year, but many, 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 many more years to come. Go Jags. If you're not subscribed to this channel, I don't know what you're waiting on. Hit that subscribe button. Join me on this journey. Go Jags.